The Surge 2 is a sci-fi Souls-like that replaces medieval castles with brutal industrial cities and robotic enemies. Combat is its biggest strength, fast, precise, and built around targeting enemy limbs to cut them off and craft new gear. Every encounter feels tactical, pushing you to learn patterns, dodge perfectly, and strike aggressively. The world is interconnected like Dark Souls, filled with shortcuts, hidden upgrades, and environmental storytelling. Even though the setting is gritty and technical, the game rewards players with deep customization and satisfying grind-free progression. It never hit mainstream popularity because of its difficulty and niche sci-fi style, but fans who try it discover one of the most polished and overlooked Souls-like experiences on PS4.
This standalone expansion often gets ignored, but it's one of Arcane's smartest and most refined stealth action experiences. You play as Billy Lurk, a master assassin navigating a corrupt city filled with secrets, supernatural dangers, and morally grave factions. Unlike the main Dishonored games, this title gives you a compact, focused adventure with tighter missions and more creative tools. Abilities like teleportation, disguising yourself as enemies, or freezing time for split-second assassinations open up endless ways to play. The world feels alive, with a vertical level design and detailed interiors that reward exploration. Although shorter than a typical AAA game, its quality, replayability, and style make it one of the most criminally underrated titles on PlayStation.
Returnal is a sci-fi roguelike shooter that demands patience, reflexes, and experimentation. You play as Celine, trapped on an alien planet, stuck in a time loop. Every death reshapes the world, forcing you to adapt, learn, and evolve. Its bullet hell combat mixes rapid dodging, precise shooting, and aggressive movement, creating some of the most intense fights on PS5. The story unfolds through surreal environments, cryptic lore, and personal flashbacks that slowly reveal who Celine really is. It launched as a niche, challenging title, so many players skipped it, but those who tried it discovered an innovative, atmospheric, and deeply rewarding exclusive. A tactical strategy RPG that mixes anime storytelling with smart turn-based combat. Each mission is designed like a battlefield puzzle, where positioning, movement, and timing matter more than raw power. The game's watercolor art style gives it a unique charm, and every squad member has personality traits that influence combat. The story is emotional, exploring friendship, sacrifice, and the cost of war through beautifully crafted cutscenes. Despite being one of the best strategy games on PlayStation, it didn't get the mainstream attention it deserved due to its niche genre. For fans of tactical depth and heartfelt stories, this is a hidden gem. Hellblade is a dark, atmospheric action-adventure that blends Norse mythology with psychological storytelling. You control Senua, a warrior battling both external enemies and the voices inside her mind. The binaural audio makes every whisper feel disturbingly real, pulling you into her mental struggle. Combat is intimate and weighty, with every strike feeling personal. Despite critical praise, the game remained underrated because of its niche tone and indie-style presentation, but the narrative, visuals, and performance capture work are on par with big AAA titles. It's a haunting, emotional journey that sticks with you long after you finish, especially for players who love character-driven stories. This remaster brings back one of the most charming open-world RPGs ever made. Amalur mixes fast, combo-driven combat with deep skill trees, making every build feel powerful and fun. The world is colorful, bright, and full of fantasy creatures, hidden dungeons, and lengthy story arcs. What makes it underrated is how overshadowed it was by bigger RPG releases, even though its gameplay flow is still smoother than many modern titles. Quests are plentiful, loot drops are addictive, and the freedom to mix magic, melee, and stealth gives the game endless replayability. A perfect pick for RPG fans who want something light, fun, and timeless. Ghost Runner is a hyper-fast cyberpunk parkour action game where every move counts. You play as a cybernetic assassin sprinting through neon rooftops, wall running, sliding, and slicing enemies with one-hit precision. The catch? You also die in one hit, which turns every level into a tense puzzle of timing and reflexes. Instead of brute force, the game rewards rhythm, flow, and perfect execution. Its electronic soundtrack pumps adrenaline into every chase, and the world building quietly reveals a dystopian tower city controlled by a tyrant. The game offers challenge, style, and creativity, yet it slipped under the radar for most PlayStation players. A dark, emotional stealth adventure set in plague-ridden medieval France. You control Amicia, a teenage girl guiding her younger brother Hugo through war, disease, and supernatural threats. The game combines stealth, puzzle solving, and survival elements with incredibly strong character writing. The rat swarm tech creates some unforgettable set pieces, while the bond between the siblings forms the heart of the story. Visually beautiful and deeply human, the game deserved way more attention than it got at launch. It's slow, atmospheric, and emotional, perfect for players who love story-first experiences over fast action. A psychological survival horror game that mixes open-area exploration with intense cinematic storytelling. You play as Detective Sebastian Castellanos, entering a nightmare world to save his daughter. The game strikes the perfect balance between stealth, combat, and horror atmosphere. Each zone feels handcrafted, with haunting encounters and emotional story beats. Unlike typical horror games, it encourages player freedom. You can craft, upgrade skills, and choose how to handle threats. Even though critics praised it, the game didn't get the player base it deserved. Today, it stands as one of the best but most overlooked horror experiences on PS4. A sci-fi immersive sim from Arcane Studios where every room, item, and enemy hides a mystery. Set on the Talosai space station, Prey blends survival, horror, and exploration with deep RPG-style choices. Mimic aliens can transform into everyday objects, keeping you constantly paranoid. The game rewards creativity, hacking, powers, weapons, and environmental tricks all open different paths. Story choices heavily impact the ending, making every playthrough feel different. Despite its brilliance, it launched under the radar and never reached the mainstream audience it deserved. Today, it stands as one of the most intelligent sci-fi games on PlayStation. A stylish, physics-bending action game where gravity is your superpower. You play as Kat, a gravity-shifting hero who can flip the world upside down, walk on walls, and fight enemies mid-air. The art style blends anime and comic book aesthetics with a colorful open world that feels alive. Missions are creative, characters are memorable, and the movement system is unlike any other game on PlayStation. It released quietly and was overshadowed by bigger titles, but for players who love unique mechanics and expressive world building, Gravity Rush 2 remains an underrated masterpiece that deserved way more spotlight. A visually stunning open-world adventure where movement itself feels magical. You play as a hunter exploring a massive cursed island with the help of an eagle companion. Instead of traditional traversal, you glide, dash, and shoot talismans to build momentum, making exploration fast and addictive. The game never holds your hand, yet its world design naturally pulls you in with puzzles, hidden shrines, and towering cursed bosses. The soundtrack and atmosphere make every moment feel mythical. Despite its beauty and unique traversal system, the game didn't get mainstream attention, making it one of PS5's most overlooked gems.